Islam teaches that there is no way that a prophet of God would ever be allowed to be crucified, such as Jesus. So, this is what the Quran has to say about Jesus' crucifixion. It says, "And for their saying, indeed, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the Son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. And they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but another was made to resemble him to them. And indeed, those who differ over it are in doubt about it. They have no knowledge of it except the following of assumption. And they did not kill him for certain." So that is chapter 4, verse 157 in the Quran. Okay, so the Muslims were not the first people to object to the idea of the Messiah suffering and dying. In fact, Peter, Jesus' own disciple, was the first person in recorded history to have objected to the idea. So, this is when he did it. So, Jesus says in Mark chapter 8, verse 31, it says, "And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and chief priests and the scribes and be killed, and after 3 days raised again." So Jesus teaches that to Peter and to the disciples. Um, and so this is how Peter responds to it, moving on to verse 32. "And Peter said this plainly, and Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him." So Peter actually takes Jesus aside after Jesus tells it to him and rebukes him. Okay, so Peter, the disciple, not the rabbi, not the teacher, is the one who is rebuking Jesus, right? So who else rebukes the idea of Jesus being crucified and being raised again on the third day? The Muslims do. Okay, so Muslims rebuke that idea too. So have you ever wondered what Jesus would say to Muhammad or what Jesus would say to the Muslims? Wonder no more. We get to see it right here. So whatever he responds to Peter, whatever he says to Peter, just assume that he's saying that to Muhammad and to the Muslims who believe that he was not crucified. Okay, um, but turning and seeing his disciples, Jesus rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man." Okay, so Jesus doesn't pull any punches here, right? Jesus lays into Peter, and as harshly as words can allow, he tells Peter to get behind me. Okay, so when someone says get behind me, basically what they're saying is know your place, know your role. You are not the teacher. You are not the one who is in authority. It is me who is in authority, so you get behind me. You need to understand that. Okay, so, and if that's not harsh enough, he calls Peter, and by implication, anyone else who would say the same type of thing as Peter, as to rebuke what Jesus said about himself as to being killed and resurrected on the third day. He calls Peter and anybody else who says what Peter said, Satan. So Jesus explicitly said that anyone who rebukes his idea about crucifixion and resurrection is satanic, right? So when I call Islam a satanic religion, I'm not doing it on my own authority. I'm not doing it based on my own opinion. I am doing it under the authority and the explicit saying of Jesus himself. And he says, "Get behind me, Satan."